This is class 10 CBSE History Nationalism in India Part 3. In previous video we learnt about that the enter of the Gandhiji into India from South Africa, and he conducted the three important Satyagraha movements in India, that is took place in Champaran, Kheda and Ahmedabad. This one is went into very great successful. Now the Rowlatt Act, emboldened with this success, that is emboldened with the great success of the three important Satyagraha movement in India, it gave the courage to Gandhiji in 1919 decided to launch a nationwide Satyagraha. What he want launch? Nationwide Satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act 1919. This act had been hurriedly passed through the Imperial Legislative Council, means through the British government, that is Imperial Legislative Council, despite the united opposition of the Indian members. So this Rowlatt Act passed hurriedly by the Imperial Legislative Council because they want to oppose the united Indian members against the British government. It gave the government enormous powers, that means more powers, to repress political activities, to stop or made under the control of political activities of Indians, and allowed detention of political prisoners. That means they can arrest any political activities or satyagrahis as a prisoners without trial, without filing of any case, without trial for 2 years. This is the Rowlatt Act. So any political activities or any satyagrahis, the British government can detain, that means they can arrest as a prisoners without trial for 2 years. Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violent civil disobedience against this Rowlatt Act, that means against such unjust laws, means against this Rowlatt Act, which would start with a hartal. First he started with hartal, that means strike, on 6th April 1919. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railway workshops and shops were closed down. This one is alarmed by the popular upsurge. That means a sudden increase of the people of Indians, those who started protest or did rallies and hartals against the British government. This activity alarmed the British government, and also they became scared that lines of communication such as the railways and telegraph would be disturbed. So the British administration decided to clamp down, decided to clamp down on nationalists. So local leaders of the nationalists or satyagrahis were picked up from Amritsar. It's in Punjab, important place, Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. Mahatma Gandhi was stopped or closed to enter into Delhi. On 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession. So on 10th April, the police in Amritsar place, they opened the fire upon the peaceful procession. This activity reacted against by the peoples of the Amritsar, they provoking widespread attacks on banks, post offices, and railway stations. So its one turned as a violent. They reacted by the people also. So they want to stop this tension. So immediately in Amritsar they imposed the martial law. Martial law means the army take the control instead of the police in the particular place. So here Amritsar was taken under the control of the military force, otherwise army controls. That one is known as martial law was imposed and General Dyer took its command. So he became the commander of this place. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident, that is Jallianwala Bagh massacre, took place. On that day, a large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Jallianwala Bagh is a place in Amritsar. Jallianwala is the name and Bagh means park. In that place, a large crowd is gathered into that ground. The ground is enclosed into three sides. One side only open, that is entry, that also a small entry only. Some came to protest against the government's new repressive measures. So some of the protesters, they gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh against that government. They give a meeting against the new repressive measures which one is taken in the hands of the British people. Others had come to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. So other persons, they came to the Jallianwala Bagh, they entered that Amritsar to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. It's a festival which is celebrating in that Punjab. Being from outside the city, many villagers were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed in Amritsar. So majority of persons, they came outside the city, so they were unaware, they did not know the martial law had been imposed there. Dyer, that is General Dyer, entered that area. He blocked the exit points and opened fire on the crowd. He gave the order to open fire on the people, crowd, innocent people. Killing hundreds of people and many thousands were injured. His objective, as he declared that, was to produce a moral effect. That means he wants to produce a good behavior, good respect among that Indians and to create in the minds of Satyagrahis a feeling of terror and awe. That means they have to give the respect to the Britishers but with fear. Whenever they see the Britishers, they should fear and should give respect. That one is known as respect with fear. As the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, crowds took to the streets in many North Indian towns. So the Jallianwala Bagh incident, it spread out among the crowds. So many crowds took, that means they came out from the homes and occupied the streets in many North Indian towns. They were strikes, they did strikes, clashes with the police and attacks on government buildings. They attacked the government buildings too. The government responded with brutal repression. So the government also reacted and they want to repress this activity through the brutality. Seeking to humiliate and terrorize people, Satyagrahis were forced to rub their noses on the ground, crawl on the streets and do salute to all sahibs. So the Satyagrahis were forced to rub their noses on the ground. You can see the picture here which is given here in the right side. So they forced the Satyagrahis, their nose should be touched on the ground and rub it. Up to that they have to bend it. They should not walk on the streets, they should crawl on the streets like a baby. And they have to do salam, that is salute, to all the officials of the Britishers. People were flogged, people were beaten, eaten with very harsh and rudely with a stick, that one is known as flogged, and villages were bombed. Many villages were bombed around Gujranwala in Punjab. Now it's in Pakistan, because when that partition of India and Pakistan happened, Punjab also divided into two. So one part it's in Pakistan now. So on that time that there is no Pakistan, that all together India only. So Gujranwala in Punjab, at present it's in Pakistan. Seeing violence spread, actually Gandhiji, what he said, he started the nationwide satyagraha. Satyagraha means what? Truth and non-violence. But here this incident, this protest turned into violent way. This violence spread out in that North Indian towns. So Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. So he called off the nationwide satyagraha movement. While the Rowlatt Satyagraha, that means the Satyagraha movement which is conducted against the Rowlatt Act, had been a widespread movement, but it was still limited mostly to cities and towns of North India. It's not spread that entire areas of India. Mahatma Gandhi now felt the need to launch a more broad-based movement in India. Throughout, majority areas should be covered. It should be a movement should be spread out a broad area. But he was certain that no such movement could be organized without bringing the Hindus and Muslims closer together. Here we, in starting of this lesson itself, we learn incorporating of social groups, one of the measure. So here that one is mentioned. Gandhiji also felt that one, without bringing the unity or closer the Hindus and Muslims together means there is no such movement could be organized in a broad based level. One way of doing this he felt was to take up the Khilafat issue. So one way he wants to join the Hindus and Muslims, so he taken that Khilafat issue. The First World War, we'll see what is the Khilafat issue. The First World War had ended with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey against the Allied countries. That Allied countries defeated the Ottoman Turkey. And there were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, the spiritual head of the Islamic world. That one is known as Khalifa. Actually, Ottoman Emperor's head is the spiritual head, that is that religious head of the Islamic religion. That one is known as, he was known as Khalifa. So the treaty going to be imposed, that also harsh peace treaty, that is going to minimize the power of that Khalifa. To defend the Khalifa's temporal powers, they want to protect the temporal powers of the Khalifas. A Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919. A young generation of Muslim leaders like the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, these two brothers only formed that Khilafat committee against the harsh peace treaty. That one is known as Khilafat movement. Began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of a united mass action on the issues. So these two brothers, they began to discuss with Gandhi about that possibility of that mass action on the Khilafat issue. Gandhiji saw this is the opportunity to bring Muslims under the umbrella, under a one umbrella of a unified national movement. At the Calcutta session, so every year Congress that is Indian National Congress conduct the meeting, that one is known as session. So according to that, in Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, which was held in September 1920, Mahatma Gandhi convinced other leaders of the need to start a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat. So non-cooperation movement plus Khilafat movement, that is in the support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. Swaraj means self-government, otherwise self-rule. Why non-cooperation? Why Gandhiji chosen the non-cooperation movement? In his famous book, Hind Swaraj, his book is known as Hind Swaraj, 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians. So with the cooperation of Indians only, that British rule established here and had survived only because of this cooperation, and the Britishers survived here because of the Indians' cooperation. If Indians refuse to cooperate with the British rule in India would collapse. Surely it will collapse within a year, and Swaraj would come and self-rule would come. How could non-cooperation become a movement? This is important. How could a non-cooperation is turned into a movement? Gandhiji proposed, he said that the movement should unfold in stages. It will be carried out into many continuous stages. It should begin with the surrender of titles that the government awarded to the Indians. So first they have to surrender their titles, awards, which one is given by the British government to the Indians. And a boycott of civil services, army, police, courts and legislative councils, schools and foreign goods. Boycott means a refusal. We have to refuse to do these activities or to participate in such activities or buy or use any things. This is also one of the form of protest against the British. Boycott means refusal. Boycott of civil services, not to take part in any civil services, army, police, courts, legislative councils and schools, and that means not to attend the British schools and not to buy the foreign goods or use the foreign goods. Then in case the government used repression, so surely they will do that repression activity against this non-cooperation movement. That time a full civil disobedience campaign would be launched. That time a full complete civil disobedience movement would be launched. Through the summer of 1920, Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali of that Khilafat committee, one of the brothers, Shaukat Ali, toured extensively. They travelled throughout India extensively, mobilizing popular support for the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. Many within the Congress were, however, concerned about the proposals. Some are concerned with this, some are accepted these proposals, but they were reluctant to boycott the council election scheduled on November 1920. But the Congress members are reluctant, that means unwilling to boycott the council elections which is scheduled on November 1920, and they feared that the movement might lead to popular violence. So they also feared this movement might be lead to any popular violence, because already nationwide satyagraha also turned into a violence. So the same fear this time also arose among them. In the months between September and December there was an intense tussle. There was an physical contest or a struggle within the Congress. Within the Congress, they have some fight or physical contest or a struggle among that Congress members. For a while, there seemed no meeting point between the supporters and the opponents of the movement. So, it seemed there is no meeting point between the supporters and also the opponents of the movement. Finally, at the Congress session at Nagpur in December 1920. So, finally, Nagpur session, which is in December 1920, a compromise was worked out and the non-cooperation program was adopted. So, finally, Gandhiji convinced them and they all accepted to do the non-cooperation movement. So, they adopted the non-cooperation movement along with the Khilafat movement. How did the movement unfold? So, how they did that movements, that means unfold step by step activities of that movement. That means they showed their against of that movement. Who participated in it? How did different social groups, here different social groups conceive of the idea, how they accepted, how they thought themselves, how they think the meaning of that idea of the non-cooperation among themselves. This we learn in that next video under the topic of differing strands within the movement, within the non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. Until then, thank you.